Hey, hey. Hey. What's up, Monica?
Hey, Miss Lily.
Welcome to Talk to Me Nicely, and I am your host, Miss Lily. Make sure that you talk to me nicely. And we are back to talk about if you have school age children. We had people asking questions that they didn't even know that they can possibly ask, so just diving in deeper into what happens when the school doors close after you drop your children off, or even in daycares. Monica is a vet. And she's been answering these questions and they have been coming. So we have more questions and we're gonna talk about that today. What's up, Monica? How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I am amazing. Yeah, I'm a vet. I'm deep off in these teacher streets. Okay, I'm an OG. I feel like a
For sure.
real OG. Um, yes, we did. I did get a question, and it was not from a parent. It was from a teacher. But I thought that it was a very valid question. And what she asked me was, well, not what she said to me was, I have parents come in a lot of mornings and will say, he's been up all night, or, she didn't sleep well, can you let her take a nap, whatever. Or like they'll come in still sleeping and the parents want to put them down to continue to sleep. So the teacher who asked me this question, she was like a GSRP teacher, which great start to readiness program. They're like 4 and 5 years old, getting ready to go to kindergarten.
Okay.
So she wasn't sure how to answer the question. She didn't want to seem like she was being insensitive to the parent, but in her teacher brain, it did not make sense that she's going to be working with the other children and following a curriculum while this other child is somewhere in the corner asleep. So
Yeah.
she asked me, like, what are the rules concerning those things? Which is valid because when the children are that young, even if they're in like a Head Start program or GSRP, a structured preschool program, a lot of times the parents still look at it as daycare. Um,
Mhm.
Babies, and my experience is not with babies. So I'm going to say maybe a year and under, and I may be wrong. I'll look it up. And if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself in the comments. But those are the children who sleep on demand whenever they're
Mhm.
they're tired. The younger children, literally the babies. Once you get into the toddler age and definitely preschool, GSRP, whatever, there is a particular schedule to the day. The children, if the children are having breakfast, all the children need to be at the table. That's for the
Mhm.
sake, and the schedule, let me say, this is not most of my experiences with Head Start. So I'm going to say that this schedule is not something arbitrary that's made up. It's like you have to get this, and done in a day, and this is the order. So, like, we don't make this up. It comes from the top, and this is the structure of the day that we have to follow. We can't do that while little Stinker Junior over in the corner sleep. We can't. Breakfast is more than breakfast. It's conversation. It's a start to the day. It's that little check in to see how you're feeling. And just kind of get everybody on the same page. In my classroom, my circle time starts during breakfast. Because
Okay.
when they eat and they quiet. But
Mhm.
it's also, in my opinion, it's not safe. If this child is in school and the rest of the class is up and active and they're somewhere sleep, say on a bean bag, or if you pull out the whole cot or whatever, there's a risk of that child being fallen on because other children are up and active and
Moving
playing.
around.
So to shorten all that answer, the actual policy is that a preschool age child or a GSRP and above age child does not have a sleep on demand schedule. If your child is too sleepy to participate in school for whatever reason, it would most likely fall under your school's sick child policy, with the
Mm.
terminology of being lethargic. A sleepy child is lethargic. They're not ready to learn and to participate in the day. And that may be a day that you need to keep your child home, or they may
But
be.
that can be challenging for the teacher too.
It's challenging for the teacher because I know how it feel to be sleepy. You know how it
Oh,
feel to be sleepy. And
mhm,
although, I may say, okay, I wish I could let you go lay back down and go to sleep, but because
mhm,
I have to follow the structure of the day, I can't do that, you know?
right.
Um, but it brought me around to the whole sleep issue because that's one of my soapbox issues. And it accounts for a lot of misbehavior in schools. Any teacher, I believe, would agree. These kids be sleepy. And
Mm,
I don't think that a lot of parents understand how much sleep young children
that's
need.
how.
Yeah, I
Mhm,
don't think they fully understand how much they can't go to bed at the same time as you and get up at the same time as you. Depending on the age, and I'm going to put this in the comments as well, but depending on the age, like most of my experience is with preschool age children, and preschool age children need about 13 hours of sleep a day.
mhm.
13.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It sounds like a
a lot.
lot, but like a
It
little
sounds like,
nap during the day,
and
and
I'll
then
add it up.
yeah, and then like whatever. I wouldn't recommend multiple naps because I don't think you would sleep through the not through the night, but a little nap during the day, doing things so that they'll be active, so that whatever the set bedtime is, that they're going to be ready to relax and go to bed. The hot bath and all that, old fashioned stuff.
Mhm.
To get a child to lay down and rest. But if your child is too sleepy to participate, they're too sleepy to be at
Leave
school.
them at home.
Yep.
Yeah, I can agree with that, but then also you can understand as a parent, like what if mom or dad's schedule, you know what I'm saying, is a certain time, and then you got to pick your baby up from the babysitter, so you break in their sleep, and you got to get them home, and now they got to get comfortable again to
Hmm.
lay down and try to get some rest. It's like, what do you do even as a parent, trying not to make it hard on the teacher, because okay, you still got to go to work, your child still got to go to school, you don't really want to keep them home because then you gonna miss
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
Like
Okay.
that could be challenging.
No, it is. And the first thing I do want to point out is that you talk about making it hard on the parent. We got to remember when these kids come into school and they can't hold their heads up, it's hard on the child.
Oh, it's definitely hard
And
on the
and
child
and my
because they
focus
body can't handle all that.
exactly. My focus is always going to be on the child. And the whole scenario you just played out is so valid. I've actually done it. At one point I had, just the two girls, and they were pretty
Mhm.
young. I think Cody was maybe in the first grade and Naomi was probably in Head Start. Um, if she was, I don't even remember, but they were very young. And I worked a
Mhm.
midnight job. And I didn't have to be at work till 12 midnight, but I took them to my mother's house at 8 o'clock so that they could get into
Mhm.
bed. Now, there were
Mhm.
times when my schedule was off and changed, and I did have to go wake them up out of their sleep, to go home or whatever. Or sometimes I'd be like, I'm just
Yeah.
not going to wake them up. I'm going to leave them there. Now, I was fortunate that I had a safe place for my children to be. I know that everybody doesn't have that luxury, but I'm going to
Right.
say this. I firmly believe that there's a solution to every problem. And the
Mhm.
issue of children getting enough rest is significant enough that we got to find a solution to it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It affects
And
their
it can't
academic.
be necessarily requesting that the teachers give them extended nap time.
Yeah, no. Because for
It can't
example,
be, because
no,
that's gonna interfere with the other kids.
it's going to
Yeah,
interfere with the other kids, and not only that, there, like I said, there's a schedule. So if I'm in my
yeah,
classroom and Stinkerbutt comes in and he's sleepy, okay, I'm gonna let Stinkerbutt lay down for a little bit. Then my supervisor or maybe somebody from the state, any type of inspection, comes
right.
in. Now I'm in trouble,
And you want
because
to
he's
make sure
not
that the
supposed to
teachers
be.
are abiding by things, so you don't want to put
Yeah,
the teacher in that
you
situation.
don't want to
So
put the
yeah,
teacher at risk, and with anything that puts the teacher at risk puts the whole program at risk.
that's
you
true.
know The state don't play about violations.
Yeah, and you
You
definitely
know,
want to make sure that the school itself has staff that actually follow by the rules. Do
very
what you're
much
supposed to.
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much so. You're
Do what
dealing with
you're
my
supposed
baby. I want you to follow all the rules, not just the ones you
to. Yeah,
like.
yeah, exactly. Because
Mm-hmm.
that's protection. So,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Even if it get
yeah.
on my nerves, I'm cool.
Well, I'm glad that you gave the hours. Because some people may not even know how many hours they children should sleep. You know what I'm saying? How many
Mm-hmm.
hours a child needs to rest to actually get up and be able to function
And I'm
and
gonna put
get
it
going.
down in I'm gonna put it in the comments as well.
And you know what else I want to say? And when you do put them to sleep, give them enough time with getting up that they not rushing. Like give them enough time to wake up and say, "Oh, it's a new day. Let me get
Mm-hmm.
myself going." So
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you put enough time in between walking out the door and getting up so that they can function better as well too.
And
So
that's true. And I'm glad you said that. And also, remember that our children are very much like us. I don't like to get
yeah,
up rushing. That puts me in a bad mood. I feel like I'm gonna forget something. Now I'm mad when I walk in the door of wherever I'm
mhm,
going. I'm an adult. I know how to control those emotions. I know how to talk
right,
myself out of it, and get my attitude right, because I know that if I go up in this job acting crazy, I ain't gonna have no job to worry about. So a
right.
child don't know how to do all that rationalization. They're just going to express how they feel with the hollering and
Yep,
screaming and kicking or whatever else they might be doing. But I'm
it was.
saying that to say, if you like to have slow mornings, it's a matter of discipline, just just discipline to hit that alarm 30 minutes early or whatever, however you want to do it, and be
Mm,
able to have a peaceful morning. That sets the tone for the day. If you're going there
yeah.
to wake them up and they want 5 more minutes, okay, you can have 5 more minutes. They okay, that might be all that they need. Now they're ready to get up. I'm gonna tell you what I do, and I ain't gonna lie that I do it all the time, but it's a good trick. I ain't gotta wake nobody up. All I gotta do is put some sausage on. Okay.
And once they smell it, that's
All
it.
I
Wake
gotta
up
do is put
call.
all I gotta do is put some sausage on. Okay. And I ain't gotta cook nothing else. Grab a couple of
That's
sausages, let's go. Okay. I'm
that's
so serious. So
wake
I
up
mean,
call.
sometimes you gotta outthink them, you
Mhm.
know? You gotta outthink
I
them. Sometimes. You can't fight them,
I
they're gonna win every time. Cause they ain't got no blood pressure problems. They ain't got nothing to do but holler and
Hey, cause
scream.
you have been to me like, okay, well, whatever. Okay.
Exactly. They win every time. So you got to outthink them. You can't try to go toe to toe with them. And I know that
Right.
that whole morning thing is hard. I remember when the twins were young, that was like oh, I would wake up in the morning. Oh my God, here we go. I don't know
Oh
how
yeah.
this is going to feel. And kids will have that temperament anyway, even though they was
Mhm.
getting plenty of sleep. The bed
Mhm.
feel
And
good.
still,
What you mean I
oh
got to get up
yeah,
and put on clothes
fall
and go
into
over here?
the floor and
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I'm like, what is happening
yeah.
here?
And you
Good
don't want to start your
grief.
day hollering and screaming. Nobody wants to start the day that way.
That's right. Nope,
So just be
not at all.
intentional. Be intentional with whatever your nighttime and your morning time routine is. Whatever is going to work for you and your family. It might be
Mm.
putting on some music, it could be anything. Whatever works for you and your family. But be intentional
Um,
with it and consistent with it.
the quiet music on YouTube, my baby enjoys that, and that's what helps her to sleep. And if she don't have it, sometimes it's like, I need my quiet music,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that white noise. You know what
White
I'm
noise,
saying?
the rain sounds. I do the rain sounds every night.
Yeah, so that's always something good to throw on. Shoot, from the time the baby come out, honestly. But
Mm-hmm.
I do have another question for you, and we touched on this before about the turnover rate in schools.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I noticed is, and this is something that this happened. So teacher been changed at least 3, 4 times within the school time season, right?
Mm.
So the whole time that then what, and we only in what, April?
Right.
So you done had a child go through maybe four teachers at least within this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't understand that. And then you don't always let the parent know. So why
And
isn't the parent notified that the teacher has been changed again? And then the last teacher that we spoke to, she said she was a kindergarten teacher and she was just trying to catch up to the curriculum. And what they had them
mm-hmm.
doing and things she didn't even understand herself. So how
Mm-hmm.
do we expect for the kids to adjust and do certain things and the teachers trying to adjust? I mean, the whole, like, it's crazy. Whatever.
No, I agree with you on every level because I understand it. I've seen it. I'm somewhat in it now. Um,
Okay.
and this goes back to what we remember last time we were talking about the 4 year type of daycares or preschools where they only let you come in the foyer, they don't let you go in the back. That's sometimes
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons they don't want you to know that they changing teachers like they change socks. That's an unfortunate um fact of, like I said before, the teacher shortage. So what you're
Yeah.
getting now is a lot of young inexperienced teachers who can't handle it. So they're there for a couple of months and then they're out. Teachers are
Um,
like walking out midday. The schools
then I
pull
heard it wasn't
teachers.
enough students. I'm
Oh, I
sorry.
don't know where it's not enough students. There's kids everywhere. Um, and then what the school is going to have to pull from whoever they can pull from. So like you said, this teacher is coming in, she don't even teach this grade or this class, and she's trying to
Right.
learn the curriculum. I hate that so much because depending on what year of school and what, developmental level that child is at, it's almost like a wasted year because you're starting over, you're starting over. So yeah, I hate that, but
And
it
here's
happens.
the thing, with you even saying that just really made me think, because if it's a constant start over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all just pushing the kids on to the next grade? You know
Yes,
what I'm
ma'am.
saying?
Yes,
Whether
ma'am.
they know, we just gonna
Man,
move them along.
they've been pushing
Right?
kids up since probably before, but I definitely noticed it after COVID. All them COVID
Yeah,
kids
but
should not
that's
have
crazy.
passed to the next grade. So
Hmm.
yeah, but I mean they've been doing it a long
So we
time. Yeah,
doing
we.
them a disadvantage, but
Mm-hmm.
you want the kids to come to school, and if they don't come to school, then the parent is in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
Mm-hmm.
it's it's crazy, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's, I don't know. I remember you
No,
saying
and
to me at
that's
one
not
point in
good.
time you didn't think that kids should go to school after what, second grade? Was it second grade?
But probably once they learn to read. Girl, you finna bust off into a whole nother podcast because the educational
Oh,
system, I am not pleased with it
oh,
in many, many ways. And
oh
when the Lord
God.
blessed me with a grandbaby, they not stepping foot in nobody's school.
Well, they
Because
don't have a reason to.
we not teaching kids the things that they need to know to live and
Hmm.
to survive. This
That
system
part.
is it's all about money, just like everything else. I used to be really resentful when people would compare schools to the prisons and whatever, but
And
they ain't
look
lying.
at
The
that.
structure, line up, be quiet,
Okay.
yeah, and the
Hello.
things, the whole, well, I don't want to jump off that bridge, but you going into school and you being asked to do something that's contrary to your nature. Sit
Mhm.
there, shut your mouth, listen, and remember and regurgitate what I'm telling you. And you're saying this to children. I'm 53 years old. I can't sit still more than 10 minutes. I can't finish a movie. Okay? My mind start wandering, my body get to hurting. I got to get up and
Oh.
go do something. So
Mhm.
I get that in a kid, but it's not structured where teachers in the K through 12 or whatever, unless you in a specialty school, it's not structured for hands-on real life learning. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? It's, somebody 1,000 years ago said you got to be able to know X, Y, and Z. So here it is, and learn it. Chap, mm-mm. It's all bad. Even
So let me
even
ask
wait, I gotta throw this in before I forget. Even
what?
for those parents who got those kids who are doing really well in school,
Mhm.
baby. My kids on the honor rolls, getting all kinds of accolades. They the best thing since sliced bread. Went to the library one day to print out a paper that my son had to turn in. And I accidentally read the paper.
Accidentally.
And I'm like,
Oh my
you
God.
I'm trying to show him his errors. And he was like, "Mom, they don't nobody care. Don't nobody care. They just want to turn it. I didn't even read it. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody care." So I left it
That's
alone. I left it
crazy.
alone just to see. He got an A on
What
it.
they was going
He got an A
what?
on it. He got an A on it. He's starting sentences with and, the grammar, just the punctuate, just the basic stuff.
So
So
we're
y'all
not
not
even
learning the
going to
basic
correct
stuff.
and make sure that this is right. That's crazy. That's crazy, and that's high school.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Quick
Mm-hmm.
question. So
Mm-hmm.
when you were just talking about, these are kids and how do we expect for them to just stay still and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
8 hours of school is a work day.
Mm-hmm.
8 hours. That's a whole work day.
It's a
So
lot.
is it 8 hours so that teachers get 40 hours a week?
I have no
Or
idea.
is it
You
eight
know,
hours? I mean, I'm just really thinking about it, like, or is it 8 hours because we really feel like these kids can grasp all that information in one day and remember? Half
I,
the
I,
time after they
I
get out of one class, they've been and
it's
forgot.
it's definitely an unrealistic expectation, and I might do a little research, figure out who came up with that. Because I'm gonna tell you something else. I've always felt that if we gotta go to school, why are we off in the summer? We should be off in the winter. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Right.
Think about it.
Yeah,
You,
because think about how many breaks you get in the winter just because of the
you could
weather.
be off
So,
in the winter. That would cut down on sicknesses. That would be a
Monica for
safety thing.
president.
Oh, okay. Safety thing with these
Don't
kids trying to
tell
get
them.
back and forth to school if you live in a place where the weather is harsh. And not only
Mhm.
that, but there are so many, I'm a nature freak, so there's so many learning activities and things you could do outside if you had the kids in school during those warmer months. And that
Yeah,
probably keep
yeah.
them out of trouble a little bit.
Oh, it probably would. And
But
see, they'll
that's
still be
just me
able to enjoy
daydreaming.
their day. They'll still
Hmm.
be able to enjoy their day, have fun, all of that. That really makes so much sense.
Don't it?
Like whoever
I know.
created all of this had no common sense, and then they never revisited
You know what? You gonna
to
have me looking into
realize.
it. You gonna have
I'm
me
just
looking into
saying.
that.
I'm just saying. You gotta make it make sense, baby. If it
Hmm.
don't make sense, it just don't make sense.
It
You
just
know,
don't.
it just don't make sense. So
It don't.
anyway, well, those are a couple things that we definitely wanted to come on and talk about today. Make sure your kids get some sleep, like Monica
Please
said.
think about
You
doing
know,
the bed.
yeah, let them get some rest and all of that, and make sure you get them that time when they wake up. Think about
Hmm.
that. And even
Hmm.
that time when they come home from school because they need a chill out moment too. Makai be like, "Can I just chill? Can I chill
Yeah,
for a minute?"
yeah.
Yeah, and then your homework time is at this time. You know what I'm
They be
saying?
just as
So
tired as you, because they done
yeah,
suppress themselves all day, the same way we do at work to a degree. And when I say
yeah,
suppress ourselves, like somebody make you mad, you're not gonna pop off. You gotta, but
get
like they've
yourself.
been holding it in all day. They need a minute.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
definitely do. Well, y'all make sure y'all listen to this podcast, okay? Listen to what Monica said as far as, what to do when it comes down to them children. And even if you're a teacher yourself and you are faced with some of these things, it could possibly help you too to help your parents. If you have
Hmm.
any other questions, we still gonna be answering the questions. If you have any questions in regards to, anything that you may need to know that's happening behind the closed doors, or what can you ask the teachers, what's okay, what's not okay, any rules,
Hmm.
whatever. Monica got some answers for y'all.
Hopefully.
Anything else, Monica? Hopefully, she gonna get it. If she
Hopefully.
don't, so
You
it's
know what?
okay.
I don't have anything else to say. I just you want parents. You are your child's first teacher. We have
Hmm.
to speak up for our children because they cannot speak for themselves. And just don't get too comfortable with our kids have to go to school. It's a fact of life for us. But I just want you to be engaged and be involved, and know what's going on at your child's school. And I know we have to work and we have other things, but it's just that important that we got to find a way to get that in, even if it's just regular email contact with the teacher. Hey, what's going on, and all that other type of stuff. We really got to we got that's how you find out these things that you don't see. You like it's been going on forever, but we send our kid to school, we trust the school, we go on about our business, but we got to ask some questions.
Yeah, ask your questions, and if you are able to just let your child do school from home, try that too. I mean, it might work for you. But if you got any other questions, please leave it in the comments or whatever. We'll get back to it and answer them shortly. Thanks, Monica, for answering those questions. And y'all join and talk to me nicely. Have a good night.
Good
Peace.
night.